everyone, Jeri Bellini here from Recycled Parts for Art, and today's video is a design team challenge for Recycled Parts for Art. I'm doing my own design team challenge and so I decided to make a planner for 2018. I've been wanting to do that for a while, and I have some vintage books in my Etsy shop if you're interested. Anyway, I decided to use this practical handbook of painting and wallpapering, and I cut the spine off. Let me show you the guts of the book. Here's the guts, so you can see the book really wasn't that thick, but look at these pages, they're pretty awesome. So I will recycle these and use them in another project, and you know, who knows, maybe they'll show up in the planner. Anyway, since my husband is remodeling a house for us, our forever home, I thought this was kind of cool, painting and wallpapering. Not that I'm going to wallpaper, but I'm sure we're going to do a lot of painting in our house, and it's kind of reminded me of what's going on in my life right now. So what I actually did, I just wanted to tell you, I cut the spine off, obviously, and then I made the papers for the inside. So let me just show you that now for a second. And I'm making this book in a Midori style, a Fauxdori style. So it's not exactly the same size as a Midori Traveler's Notebook. It's wider. I don't know, it might be the same length. But I'm going to use the elastic method. So I'm going to give it a try. And the reason I decided to do that, just give you a little bit of my thought background, is in 2017, this past year, I used a binder. And if you're interested, you can look in my YouTube history and see what I used. And I really liked the fact that you could take the pages in and out. I didn't feel like doing that again. I felt like doing something a little different this year. But I still want to be able to take the pages in and out. And I might hate this, but and go back to the binder. But I'm going to give it a try. So I have this dotted lined paper. I don't know if you, I think you can see that. I hope you can. Here, maybe the yellow one. And I made this a couple years ago. And I actually put a PDF in my Etsy shop for you. So you can download it. It will cost you 20 cents because that's Etsy's listing fee. But you can download as many, once you download the file, you can print out as many pieces of paper as you want. And I just love the lines on this. And of course you could make your own, but it's 20 cents, right? So it'd be just easier to just download it. Anyway, what got me hooked on this was several years ago, I bought a Leuchtturm. And that's when I started doing my bullet journaling, which I love, love, love my bullet journaling. And if you care to hear any more about how I do my bullet journaling, just type in the comments below, and I can tell you, or I can do another video on how I do mine. It's quite different than the standard bullet journaling. Which, sidebar, okay, here, squirrel. A lot of people get a little put off by the bullet journaling. You can do it however you want, and I made it work for me, and I absolutely love it. So, all right, enough of that. So I prepared my signatures. I printed out 6 pages. Okay, so this is on regular copy paper, 8.5 by 11, and I did put the dotted lines on both sides. So I printed out 6 pages, which gives me 24 sides. Okay, so now there is 30 days in a month, but I never use the whole page for a day. I wind up, so I think I'm going to have way too much paper here, but I just wanted to be sure. And I like color in my journal, so I did different colors, as you can see here. So this is the whole year, and you have to kind of have an idea of what you're going to do going into this, so you know how wide, how thick to make your journal. So that's why I did this. The other thing I really enjoyed in my bullet journal was a section for my finances. And so I had had it printed on green paper last year, and so I decided to keep it on green paper again. So these are my signatures. All right, we are ready to decide on the thickness of the book. And so I have all my signatures here and my extra one for my finances. And now I'm going to put my ruler at the fold, because that's the bigger end. And I see that it's 1.5 inches. So if I press down on that, that's 1 inch. And I don't want to make it that small. I want to give it room to expand, because I might put indexes in. So 1.5 inches, I decided to make my spine 1.75 inches. All right, so now I can set these out of the way. The next thing I did is I cut or ripped. I have this canvas. It's like denim, and it is, I love it. It's a neutral color, and I threw some coffee on it to give it a little bit of a vintage look. So I actually ripped these pieces so that they would be a little shorter than, let's do it this way, it's probably easier to see, a little shorter than the book cover. Okay, and it's wide enough now to accommodate, so here's how it will look, to accommodate the 1.75 inches in the middle. I cut a piece of cardboard because I want the spine to be a little sturdy, and so that's the 1.75 inches. So now you can see I've got about 1 inch over here and 1 inch over here, and it's going to cover the spine. So that's how I figured out the size. And I have 2 pieces, okay? So one, let's just lay it all out the way it's going to look. It's going to look just like this, with this in the middle. And this I definitely did not make as long either, because I don't want that showing at all. And so now my finished piece of canvas is going to go on the inside of the book, just like that. So that's what I'm going to do now. Next is I am going to glue this cardboard, I use a Cheerios box, to this piece. Okay, we're going to do this step by step, and I'll come back. So I'm going to glue that down and I'll be back. It's going to look just like this. Is that cute or what? Right? Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm reinforcing this piece because I want this to be strong, because I'm going to be putting rivets in here at some point and elastic. So I took a piece of cardboard, which I showed you. I actually covered it with a piece of Tyvek because that stuff is indestructible. So I glued the Tyvek to the cardboard, and I glued the cardboard to this. I put some decorative stitching around. That's going to do totally nothing, except it's going to look cute on there. So you have to think ahead. And so I did that. So now the next step is to glue the book down to those pieces. And when you glue it down, make sure that it's straight. Okay, and make sure you leave enough room for the book to go up like this, because I've got a piece of cardboard in there. So you have to leave like, oh, it's like a scant 1/8 of an inch. You see that? I have a scant 1/8 of an inch here, so that when the book closes, it will do that. Make sense? Okay, we'll be back in a minute. And double check that it is going to do what I want it to do. And yes, awesome, right? Okay, so I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to put the inside piece on and let the whole thing dry together. And then tomorrow we'll do the holes for the signatures. Serious good fun from an old book, right? Make your own planner. All right, here we are. I did glue down the inside, and as you can see, I used a little stamping on the inside. I have this cute little rubber stamp. Oh, every possibility begins with the courage to imagine. And put a lot of glue on the back of this, and then I used my little wallpaper brayer and just made sure that it had a good connection, good contact. And also make sure that it goes up like that nice, which mine does. And let's flip it around. And there's the outside. All right, hi everybody. It is the next day. It is the next night. And the lighting is a little weird because I have all my lamps on around me. I never videotape at night, but I really wanted to get this finished. I want to publish this video tomorrow. So let me show you what I did. I put 3 eyelets in at the top and 3 eyelets at the bottom, and I put 1 in the center. And I am not finished with this, so I didn't want to cut this off just yet. All right, so I did make a mistake. And remember, I never made one of these books before, and I just was winging it. I am used to, when I make a book, I do signatures and I sew them in, and generally my stitches are here. So I've never made a book where you attach it at the very edge of the top and bottom. So I didn't account for this space. And what I mean by that is the inside pages, the rivets have to be at the top above the paper and at the bottom below the paper. So suffice it to say, my paper was just a little too big. So what I did is I trimmed it down because I love the book. I think it's cute as all get out. So I trimmed off about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, not a big deal. The other thing that I want to mention to you, so I got all my signatures in here. The other thing I wanted to mention to you is that I wanted all 12 signatures plus my financial one, which is 13. I wanted them all to fit in the book at once. And generally, Fauxdori's, generally Midori's, you know, what do they have, like 5 or 6 signatures? So I wanted all mine to go in. And that is the reason why I made this book, okay? Because I wanted it to be thicker than a standard Fauxdori. So I wound up figuring out how to thread the elastic. I just kept messing with it until I was able to fit all the signatures in. Now, I do have to make, okay, so the first signature is in the regular good elastic that I have here. The second signature, I used a rubber band because that's what I had. And I'm going to swap this out. I'm going to use this elastic when I cut this off. I'm going to swap it out. But I used a rubber band just to see if it would work. So let me just go over this with you one more time, and I hope it's not too confusing. If you want me to take the book apart and show you specifically how I put these signatures in, just leave me a message in the comments below, and I will just do a quick 5-minute video on that. But you probably know more about this than I do, and you already know how to do this. So the first signature is on, let's say, this elastic, okay? The second and the third signatures are connected with a rubber band, and then they're put through this elastic. And that's what I kept doing. So then this one, these two are connected with a rubber band. Where is it? Here it is. So these two are connected with a rubber band, and when I say connected with a rubber band, see, they're connected with a rubber band. And then there's a signature in there. I found this to be extremely complicated, and I had to watch somebody else's video to see how to put these in here. So anyway, I don't want to go too far with this and make you totally crazy. I wound up getting all of my signatures in my book. They fit in perfectly. I am very happy with the way the whole thing turned out. You can see how cute that looks. And that's it. that's it for my Midori planner, and I hope I didn't make you too crazy. And thank you for watching. I love you guys, and I hope you have a blessed, blessed night full of love and recycled art, and I will see you again on the next video. And as I mentioned, I think in my earlier part of my video, I have more of these books, and I have them in my Etsy shop now. So check out my shop if you have time, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching. See you later.